Welcome to Power Predictions. Here we discuss fantasy football and provide our professional insight on upcoming football games. My name is Gill, and I am joined with Azad and Evan.
Azad here. You can hear us from 8 to 9 p.m. every Tuesday night. Excited to be sharing our football knowledge with you, and hope you enjoy this episode of Power Predictions.
Hello, 88.9 The Bridge. My name is Gill, and I am joined with Evan and Azad for another week of Power Predictions. Week 4 is over, so now let's talk about some Week 5 football news. Monday night game, Raiders lose to the Chargers 14-28. Justin Herbert comes out. Really quickly, I just want to say, I'm starting to hate Red Zone and Monday Night Football because I pushed all my homework to Monday that I had over the weekend. Then the game comes on, and I'm like, no homework. I got to get prepared for Power Predictions episode, but always bums me out because I love football, but makes me push back my homework every time. But besides that point, let's get into Week 5. We got Rams, Seahawks. Rams losing last week. No one really thought it. 80% pigskin pick'em for the Rams. What do you guys think about that Rams-Cardinals game last week? Then let's go to Rams-Seahawks.
You know, the Cardinals just looked like a better team overall. I think Cardinals' defense is scary this year. I mean, they have Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, and they have good safeties. I mean, they're just a good defense. And the Rams' offense has really been the focus of their first couple weeks to the season. I mean, they got Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp's playing really good. I mean, last year their struggle was their offense, and now it's kind of their defense. I mean, their defense has given up way more yards than they have in the past. And I mean, their defense is still good, but like they need to I mean, they're good in the red zone, but they're not good like teams can move the ball down the field, and then it's not going to be sustainable in the long run, I guess.
Definitely. Azad, what do you think about that game?
Yeah, so I think the Rams, adding on to what Evan said, the Rams have so much talent in that defense, and Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey leading that crew. But I'm going to take, in terms of who I'm taking this week, I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Oh, wow. Zod usually likes to go
The
against
first time I'm
Seahawks.
taking the Seahawks. I didn't like the Rams against the Cardinals. I like the Seahawks. The thing is, what I think is going to happen for the Seahawks and how they're going to win this game is with the Seahawks, we've seen Chris Carson have good games. We've seen DK have all right games. Not as good as last year, but he can definitely get there. And we've seen Tyler Lockett have good games. This game, I think they're going to put all those pieces together, and I think Russell Wilson will be able to hit all those targets, and I think they're going to have a great game. I think their defense is going to be going in, like they're going to be studying the Rams offense, and I think there are going to be some good matchups there.
Okay, and really quickly,
So
I just want to, I like where you're coming from that point, but we've talked about it before on the show, 49ers, we all say that 49ers are a worse team than the Rams, and we have talked about a potential matchup where like Rams going against the 49ers. We usually give it to the Rams, so why are you picking the Seahawks here if the 49ers made it such a close game? I mean, one touchdown game, that could be anyone's ball game right there. Why are you giving it to the Seahawks against the Rams?
Because this is a big game for the Seahawks. This is like Seahawks in the toughest division in the NFL.
Ride or die kind of game.
This is one of I know it's really early, but it's almost like you almost have to win this game against your division.
I agree.
Because this can count down the run.
Yeah, and going on to what Azad's saying, first of all, the Seahawks, in my opinion, won by 2 scores. I mean, they drove down the field with like 2 minutes left and scored
True.
it wasn't like a touchdown that mattered in the game. They kind of already won the game.
A waste touchdown almost.
Exactly. So I would say the Seahawks kind of beat the 49ers by 2 possessions. It was like a 28-14 game most of the time. And on this game, I don't know who to take because, I actually would have took the Seahawks if the Rams won a close game because I feel like especially good teams after coming off a loss, they just have this like incentive to they have to win. But at the same time, Seahawks looked much better after the first quarter, and their defense looks much better too.
And let me also ask you this. The defense did look better in the second half, but as we know, Jimmy G gets out after the first half. Justin Fields comes in. Rookie quarterback getting thrown into kind of a situation where he kind of showed that, yes, he is a rookie quarterback, right?
Yeah,
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, mixed up the rookies. But he was flustered when he got thrown in. And the Seahawks defense, we know, isn't good, but still, he's getting put in mid-game. He's going to be nervous, right?
Well, yeah, you can say that, but Jimmy Garoppolo played the whole first half. And
7 points.
7 points. I mean, they actually looked like a really solid defense, and they were getting very bad field position most of the time. Well, the Seahawks were in bad field position on defense, and they really stepped up, and they stopped him. And it did help, though, that their kicker was hurt. I think that would have been a much closer game if their kicker was healthy because they had to use a punter to kick. So
Okay, I like that. I know you guys are sticking with Seahawks. I'm going to go against. I'm going to say the Rams. I like the Rams and Matthew Stafford. They lost to really good team, probably one of the best teams in the league, and the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, probably one of the best quarterbacks as well. So I think Rams prove that they can beat elite teams in the Buccaneers, so I think they're going to beat the Seahawks this week. Let's go on to the next game. We have Broncos and Steelers. Broncos, they finally lose to the Ravens, and clearly the Ravens are a better team with the Broncos in the first 3 games of their schedule, playing probably some of the easiest teams. We talked about that in week 3, but Broncos just showed that they're not going to be one of the best teams in the league, I think.
I think the Broncos are better than a lot of people say they are. I think they have a great defense. I don't think their quarterback's that great. But Melvin Gordon I think he's a sleeper this year, and I think he's had some great runs, and I think he's decent on that team.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, people say Broncos won against teams that haven't got a win yet. And yeah, sure, you can say that, but I do think that the Steelers are just not that good of a team this year. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is just, his QBR is like so below average, and I mean, they have an all right defense, but I do think that the Broncos are a better overall team. I think Broncos' defense is pretty solid. I mean, they had a bad game against the Ravens, but I do think they'll come out and win this game. I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah, and the Steelers did lose pretty handily to the Green Bay Packers last week, so you do definitely have a point there. I think this is going to be a really close game, though. I know you guys are discounting Ben Roethlisberger, which I do too. He's getting older, and he's not the QB he once was. But he still has weapons there, right? He's got Deontay Johnson. He's got Juju.
Najee
Harris, yeah. And we've talked about the Steelers' offense. They have a lot of weapons, just a poor quarterback. So I think for that reason, I'm going to take the Steelers. I think they're going to make it a really close game. But what do you guys, so you guys taking the Broncos?
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos in this game.
I'm taking the Broncos as well.
Broncos, I'm going against you guys this week. But let's go to the Browns and the Chargers. We got Justin Herbert. I mean, he was just throwing dimes last night. Got a little close at the end, though, with Derek Carr always bringing it close towards the later quarters. Chargers against Browns, what do you guys think about that?
I'm taking the Chargers. I mean, both teams this year, I think these are going to be I think these teams have a really good chance to go to the Super Bowl. I love both of these teams. I think the Browns are a great team on defense, especially. And I think the Chargers have the best secondary and pass defense in the league. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I think it's going to be somewhere around 14-10 or something like that. And I think I'm going to take the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert in their offense more than Baker Mayfield and the Browns' offense.
I agree with you. What do you think, Azad?
I'm also going to take the Chargers. I like Austin Ekeler, and I like what they're doing there. And, you can't blame the Chargers. They're 3-1. Lost to one of the best teams in the NFL in the Dallas Cowboys. So you can't blame them. But I'm going to take Austin Ekeler. I think he's going to go crazy this game. We finally see Austin Ekeler healthy.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I just want to talking about the running backs and the Chargers. Let's transfer over to the running backs on the Browns. We have two, probably the best dynamic duo in the league, Kareem Hunt, and we also have Nick Chubb. The Browns have really been developing Nick Chubb as not like he doesn't even pass catch anymore, right? He's only running the ball. What do you guys think fantasy-wise is the better running back for your team?
I think for value, I think Kareem Hunt's a better running back. I think Nick Chubb is like such a high first-round pick, and he hasn't really been up to his expectations, and he's still been good. But I mean, Kareem Hunt, like he's getting all the goal line touches. He's the person who's getting the touchdowns compared to Nick Chubb, and I do think that they need to give the ball to Kareem Hunt more, just because he's on my fantasy team, first of all.
Yeah.
But second of all, I think he's actually a really good running back. He's really good at breaking tackles too.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of adding on to the idea of the two running backs. Like, we see a lot of the two running backs right now in the league that are, taking the league strongly. They're taking the league by storm. And I think it's a good combo because, you get tired as a running back, and to split those carries with another guy to get your rest and then to finish that drive, it's a great addition. So I think that's smart what they're doing.
I know I'm going to finish it up on this point. I know any team, you don't really want to have, like, two of the same players. Like, few exceptions, probably like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But would you guys if you have both these running backs, would you be starting both of them?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, I actually think this is like the perfect week to do it because I think Chargers have just such a good pass defense. And, I mean, I think they can run the ball all over the Chargers. And I think that's how they're going to win the game if they can really utilize the run game. But I'm still taking the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a better team.
I like that. Okay, now I'm going to switch to Evan. Evan, what game do you want to talk about next for Week 5?
I want to go into the Giants and Cowboys.
Let's do it.
I know that's Azad's favorite team. Yeah,
Danny Dimes.
Giants came off a great win against the Saints. I think the Saints are a good team this year, but they're really up and down. They're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And so I do think that was a bad game for the Saints. I'm taking the Cowboys for the first time ever.
Wow.
I mean, obviously I have
week.
to. I don't think Giants are a good team at all. And I do think Cowboys kind of proved me wrong. I still don't think they're going to be good in the playoffs. I think they're going to lose in the divisional round.
I want to hear Azad.
I have one thing to say.
Let's hear Azad on this game.
Ezekiel Elliott is back.
He's back.
Top 5 running back potentially.
And I like to watch Fantasy Focus a lot. Matthew Berry put him on his hate list, so he thanked America for that one because anyone who goes on his hate list shows up. Zeke was showing up last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's scoring the touchdowns for the Cowboys.
The
He's their main
reason why
source.
is because he splits snaps with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has been averaging a good 70 yards a game rushing or something like that, which is crazy as a secondary running back. He's averaging like per carry one of the most in the NFL, like 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah.
So, because it's perfect, it's like they say thunder and lightning because Tony Pollard's the fast guy, Zeke's the strong, hard hitter running back. So it works out perfectly. Like, they complement each other. And Dak Prescott, I can't remember the last time I saw Dak Prescott throw under 250 yards and 4 touchdowns. And I love it because it's so productive and it's so smart of them. And they're doing a great job in the offense right now. Last week against the who did we play last week? We played the
Carolina Panthers.
Right.
And I think the Panthers are a pretty good team too. I think that was a solid win. I mean, I do think that the Cowboys defense needs some work. I don't think the Panthers offense is that good without Christian McCaffrey.
Trevon Diggs, 5 interceptions.
Well, yeah, but like still, like they're giving up almost 30 points to the Carolina Panthers, and they rely on their defense. I mean, it's still not bad. 26 points isn't bad. You should win a game with that offense, but I don't think it's going to be sustainable. I think their defense is going to have to be really good, especially against these really good offenses.
Okay, let's go over one more game. I think you guys brought up some really good points. I'm going to give it to the Cowboys. I just love their offense. They have an electric offense with electric players. Now let's go to the 49ers and the Cardinals. Essential game in the NFC West.
Yeah.
It's really going to determine if the Cardinals are going to keep their great streak going or if they're going to end and kind of drop off. What do you guys think about this game?
Well, the Cardinals, they're the only undefeated team right now in the NFL, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, Raiders lost.
I think the
Broncos.
49ers won this game. Putting it out there right now.
What?
Ooh.
No.
I'm all Cardinals.
Yes.
I hear
49ers.
Seahawks fans saying that to make their game against the 49ers that they won, like, kind of higher.
No,
than it is.
I'm just saying that because I want Seahawks to have a better chance to win this division.
Okay, let's get Evan. Let's get your
Gotta get
reasoning
lucky.
behind the San Francisco 49ers winning this game.
There's not much reasoning. I just don't like the Cardinals. I think that they're getting lucky. I mean, their defense is good, but their offense. I mean,
I agree. Actually.
they have good sides to the ball. I'm not gonna lie. I just think there's flukes in every team. I mean, every team's gonna have a bad week. I'm just gonna predict this is their bad week.
Can I ask you one more question, Evan?
Yeah.
How is it lucky that the Cardinals beat probably one of the best teams in the league, the Rams, by 17
That's not
points?
lucky. They're a good football team. I think that I don't think 49ers are going to want to lose 3 games in a row. I think they're going to go out there and they're just going to prove something different. And I think they're going to have to get the ball to George Kittle.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to play extremely well in defense. And I think it's going to happen.
See, in the NFL, I don't think any team wants to lose. So I think the Cardinals are going to want to keep winning. So that's why I'm going to give it to the Cardinals.
Obviously, but
I'm going to give it to the Cardinals, too.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, he is one of those guys that can literally take the game in his hands and he can control the game. And I think he'll do that against the 49ers because I don't like the 49ers defensive backs or cornerbacks.
I like that. And let's wrap it up with this point, Azad. I'm going to ask you the final question. DeAndre Hopkins has been kind of a slow, I would say, last 2 games, I think he scored 10 points last week. What do you think in the future of DeAndre Hopkins? Is it a panic or is it just like, don't worry, keep him starting, just don't bench him?
I mean, guys like him, they're going to get his numbers because he's just so talented. And even if it doesn't happen, sometimes he's being triple teamed, sometimes he's being double teamed. So you just got to be patient with guys like him because everyone knows that DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And, just be patient with him.
Yeah, and going on to what you're saying, I think that the Cardinals I think their offense is good, and I think they're proving that they don't have to go to their star receiver DeAndre Hopkins. They can use other people, and I think that teams are gonna stop like playing DeAndre Hopkins double teams, and he's gonna get open more, and he's gonna get more yards and touchdowns.
Okay, thank you, Azad and Evan. Patience is key. You might hear people behind us. Radio class is starting up, and that's the end of our lunch period. So we gotta head out, but it was a pleasure talking to you guys again about Week 5 in the NFL. Hope to see you next time on Power Predictions.
Subscribe to YouTube.
Yep, subscribe to our YouTube channel.